popping, man?
It's the Turks.
Turks back at it, man. We got Jimmy High Roller back at it with another banger. We got the most unethical hooper in basketball. Who is Jimmy talking about? We'll see.
The ethical hooper, a player who is true to the game, plays basketball the way it was meant to be played. No flopping, no stat padding, just pure hoops. And the opposite of the unethical hooper. The player who relies on foul baiting and gimmicks and a barrage of free throws to fill the stat sheet. And right now, there is an unethical hooper among us. Well, at least that's the reputation Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is building at the moment, with some fans claiming his historic season has been propped up with foul hunting and an absurd free throw volume manufactured from gimmicks and tricks that are a disservice to the game. But if Shai is a foul grifter, a free throw merchant, then I've got some bad news about some of your all-time favorite players.
About to say Jordan's a foul merchant? No, he's not.
Today's video is sponsored by DraftKings. The NFL betting just 5 sports bet DraftKings closer. Jimmy High DraftKings. As the 2025 NBA MVP race continues to grow closer and closer, fans across the league are finding any and every hair to split to pick a side between two players having historically great seasons. The impossibly good Serbian gunning for his 4th MVP, or the superstar guard looking to break a 6-year chokehold big men have had on the award. And with a race this tight, deciding the most valuable player in the league may just boil down to the smallest, seemingly insignificant things, like free throws. Now, basketball isn't much of a thinking man's sport, but leave it up to us to create a philosophical divide amongst the type of players we like and don't like. On one side, you have the locally sourced, all-natural, ethical hoopers. And on the other...
Tatum?
Okay, so yes, Kyrie, Devin Booker, LeBron James, Joker, KD, and Curry. For the ethical hoopers. No stat padding.
Never mind.
Non-GMO, farm-raised, good, clean buckets.
Non-GMO is crazy. Non-GMO buckets.
I mean, I could agree partially with that, but you ain't, like, some of these people on this list do be flopping sometimes. I ain't gonna say who, but...
You have players who essentially rely on a bag of tricks and gimmicks to navigate games and get free buckets from the line.
Jalen
I
Brunson?
believe basketball...
Foul baiting, processed, free throw merchants.
Jalen Brunson's game is processed? Chris Paul's game is processed.
Jimmy Butler's game is processed?
Joel Embiid's fair game.
Harden, I could see it.
Kinda.
But all these people are bucket getters regardless, but I can see what he's saying. But I don't agree with that list all the way, though. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Basketball actually has any sort of moral code? No. In fact, the idea of a morally superior basketball player seemed like a joke until it entered the vocabulary of head coaches around the league, making it about as real as anything else. But there is something distinctly different about these two styles of play, both aesthetically and productively. The question is how reliant on free throws these alleged unethical hoopers are, and are they truly earning their trips to the free throw line, or are they tampering the game with their bag of tricks? And a question we all need to consider, does Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and his game even warrant the label of unethical? Now, one way to approach this question is simply by looking at the rate at which players are attempting free throws. When looking at a metric like free throw attempts per field goal attempt, SGA ranks 24th among all players this season, behind players like Trae Young, Damian Lillard, Anthony Davis, Giannis, and even an aging James Harden, who was able to escape the claims of foul baiting and stat padding years ago. So just purely looking at the rate at which players are drawing fouls, SGA isn't doing anything out of the ordinary. But to better understand Shai's scoring profile, we need to look at the kinds of fouls Shai draws and where they're coming from. Most shooting fouls don't happen out here, they happen in here. Players that stay aggressive and drive the ball more tend to put more pressure on the defense and draw more fouls. This is why a player like Dwayne Wade, for example, who spent his prime years attempting 10 free throws a game, was never associated with any foul hunting. He earned his free throws. This season, the player who drives to the basket far more than anyone else in the entire league is Shai. In fact, nearly half of all of his free throw attempts are...
Shai drives to the rim more than Zion? Damn. When I watch Zion highlights, all I see is him driving.
Not fast.
Literally.
Generated through his drives to the basket. And again, if we look at the rate, these drive leaders are drawing fouls on their drives. Shai...
Wait, what did he switch it to?
So these are the rate at which they're drawing their fouls. Okay, so I was seeing the correct thing. Kinda.
Is getting calls at an average rate, far from what you might see from other superstars both past and present. Which brings us to a real point of contention when it comes to SGA and his historic season. One of the odd and universally accepted aspects of NBA basketball is that superstars get calls. This has been a thing since the inception of the league. Once you transcend that highest tier of player, you essentially get the benefit of the doubt, even at times when you shouldn't.
He never controlled it, Michael.
Picked it up and then he took
But he didn't touch it with both hands.
Yeah,
That's
he
the
did.
thing. You think so, Michael? 55 hits, 2 to come.
Whoa.
Michael, I didn't see 2 hands on him, Michael. But I believe you.
You did.
But I believe you.
That is gay. That is gay.
Nice glazing.
Know this, and we accept it. And Shea is a superstar, except he hasn't consistently gotten these phantom superstar calls this season. Since the introduction of tracking data back in 1996, there have been 36 instances of a player averaging at least 30 points per game for a season. And when ranking these 36 individual seasons according to free throw rates,
James Harden averaged 36 that season? Oh my god.
Nah, I ain't lying. That's crazy.
What the f-
Bro, you like that makes sense though. Yeah,
SGA this season ranks 26th, behind guards like Harden, Wade, Iverson, and Luka. But again, most shooting fouls should come from shots taken in the paint or around the rim. Of course, players do get clipped on threes and long jumpers and draw fouls by other means, but really it's getting downhill that tends to generate trips to the line. And specifically among guards, Shea gets into the paint and attempts more shots from inside than any other prolific scorer since the introduction of tracking data. This season, Shea is attempting nearly 54% of all of his shots from within 10 feet of the basket. Meanwhile, players like Kobe, Iverson, Luka, Harden, and Dame all have multiple seasons where they weren't getting into the paint nearly as much and still yielded far more trips to the free throw line. Shea is statistically the most aggressive volume scoring guard in recent NBA history. He takes the most shots that historically should earn trips to the free throw line, and there isn't a single metric that suggests his free throws are inflated or unwarranted. Of the previously mentioned 36 seasons of 30 points or more a game, the average number of free throws taken per game across the board is 10. This season, Shea is averaging just 8.3. So, if anything, considering his usage and his play style, Shea is actually not getting enough calls. If we've learned anything from witnessing the last decade of scoring maestros, it's that this is just the nature of great scorers. They're hard to stop. They force the defense to get physical, they get you in positions you don't want to be in, overreacting, reaching, even taking gambles hoping it yields you a stop or a turnover, when more often than not, it's just going to end up in another trip to the free throw line. And on an abstract scale of basketball morality, I don't think SGA plays an unethical style of hoops. I think he's a better and more prolific scorer than some fans are willing to give him credit for. He's not relying on free throws to get his numbers. When compromised, the defense is relying on fouling him just to slow him down. Most of Shea's drawn shooting fouls look something like this, where he drives into the lane and inexplicably rips through the defender's arms to put up a shot. It is damn near impossible to predict, and it works almost every time a defender cuts him off or puts a body on him. And we've seen this before with James Harden. A free trip to the line disguised as a shot attempt. In fact, this is like the 2.0 version of Harden's rip-through, because it does a much better job of masking itself as an actual shot rather than an attempt to just draw a foul. And I think that's where most fans get frustrated with this kind of basketball. It's not necessarily the outcome of the move, but rather the intent. Because we know he's not he is purely looking for a foul, and he knows he can get these calls. And you could call this unethical hoops, or you could call it smart basketball. Kobe Bryant was notorious for making opposing players pay for bad defense, drawing fouls for the sake of drawing fouls.
But when Kobe does it, it's tough, right? As soon as you see Kobe do it, it's that shit tough, bro. Come on, man. Scorers you gotta know how to score.
He did it. It wasn't viewed as his fault for taking advantage of the rules. It was the defender's fault for falling for the move in the first place. If you don't want to get baited, don't fall for the bait. You reach, I teach, as some half-decent basketball player once said. Take this play here, where he gets the defense on his hip, out of position, and reaching in to disrupt the shot. Now, Shea is baiting the foul here, and he's going to get it every time, because he already beat the defense 3 steps ago. Or this play here, where Shea has a 7-footer in a mismatch, feeds him the bait, and Markkanen falls for it, leading to the shooting foul. Some fans may say this is an act of basketball sin, intentionally jumping into the defender instead of just pulling up off the step back. I don't see it that way. You've got a 7-footer on an island with no help guarding the league's leading scorer, and you leave your feet on a pump fake.
Y'all personally, let us know in the comments what y'all think. Me personally, I rock with it because I'm a
foul,
hooper.
bro. If you pump fake, bro, and they're flying into you, bro, and you trying to shoot, bro, you can't even get your normal form off, bro. Like, you know.
Me personally, I rock with it because if you a guard, bro, you gotta get the buckets however you can.
Yeah, bro.
This is smart.
Shea isn't playing unethical hoops. He's taking advantage of bad defense. All the great scorers knew this, and they all took advantage of it.
I don't know about that one, though. I ain't gonna fake. That looked crazy.
Knew this, and they all took advantage of it.
He pushed him, though. Go back.
Bro, that's on the floor.
Bad defense.
Either way, it's a foul, though.
All the
But look.
great scorers knew this, and they all took
That's on the
advantage
floor.
of
He
it.
did push
As
him off
much as
balance.
we resented the
That's on the
traffic
floor.
James Harden would have played throughout his prime scoring years, it's worth asking the question. Was it the foul baiting and free throws?
Wait, that was a foul to you?
Yeah. That was a foul. He just got dookied out the air. Look. What the?
Was it the foul baiting and free throws that allowed him to be the scorer he was? Or was he such a great scorer that he could bend the defense to his will whenever he wanted to? Same thing goes for a player like Joel Embiid. If the gimmicks added an extra 10% to his production, would we concede that he was in fact a historic
Joel Embiid is
scorer,
too big
even
for
if he had
him. Like,
90% of the production?
you don't
He
need
did
to
it
be doing that.
ethically.
Like, bro.
Among high-volume scorers of this century, players who averaged at least 30 points per game since 2000, according to this idea of honest scoring, 2016 Stephen Curry would be the most ethical scorer, averaging 30 points
One
per
of the
game
goats.
with just 5 free throw attempts.
There you go.
And
That's
on a
my GOAT
scale
point
of
guard.
free throw reliance, 2025 Shea is far closer to Steph than he is to countless other all-time great scoring seasons. If SGA's game falls into the category of unethical hooper, then so does Kobe's, and Luka's, and Dame's, and Iverson's, and Durant's, and all of our favorite all-time great scorers. It is an unfair label on one of the best individual seasons in recent NBA history, and it is objectively not true. And if none of that changed your mind, then maybe this will. Here is every single season in modern NBA history where a player averaged at least 25 points per game. 354 individual seasons since 1980. And they are graphed in terms of scoring average and free throw attempts per game. The further right a player is, the more free throws they attempted. The further up a player is, the more points they averaged. So way off to the right are the seasons of all-time high free throw attempts, and where you'll find most historic scoring seasons, like some Embiid seasons, some LeBron seasons, Jordan's highest scoring seasons, Luka, Harden, Shaq, even the pure bucket getters like Durant and McGrady often found themselves at the line during the peak of their powers. So where does Shea's 2025 season land? It's right here. The 18th highest scoring season in modern NBA history, while attempting just the 142nd most free throws per game. And that, my friends, is some honest, homegrown, ethical hoops.
Fire, man. Fire, bro.
Fire vid, man, by
bro.
Jimmy High Roller.
Facts. Jimmy High Roller, man. Shout out Jimmy High Roller, man. Hey. Comment down below if you think Mr. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's gameplay is ethical or unethical. Personally, I think his gameplay is perfectly fine. You gotta get it how you get it, bro.
Me too.
Unless you're Joel Embiid, bro.
I agree, bro.
You too big, bro. 7 foot foul baiting from midi is crazy. I ain't gonna fake, but he a guard, bro. You gotta let him get it, bro. Hey, man, but that's pretty much about it for that. Hey, shout out Jimmy High Roller.
Shout out Jimmy High Roller, man.
Hey, gonna catch out another one. Don't forget.
Dude, shout out God. Like, comment,
man.
subscribe too,
Facts,
man. Let us know what y'all want to see.
Facts.